Well, g'day, good morning, good afternoon. If you look to your right, you'll see that I'm enjoying a permisan orange fruit, and also we call it custard apples, but apparently you guys call it sugar apple. It's like a lumpy fruit with like sweet flesh inside. It's actually pretty damn nice. But yeah, I'll show that here on the right as I'm speaking on this one. Let's do a AITA because, well, I'm always a bit of an A, aren't I? So this was posted by Liotheleon, and it's got a couple of updates and a couple of edits. We'll go through with the original story. I'll see if I can dig up some comments and give my own opinion, and then we'll move on with the edits and the updates. This says, is it possible for a cheater to change? I, 27 female, found out my ex-fiancé, 28 male, has been seeing call girls for a year. Oh my god. I'm devastated. He's literally broken after I found out. Am I finding myself sympathetic to him? Broken after you found out? Excuse me? No. He was broken before you found out. So this is almost an indescribable situation because if you would have asked me last Sunday, I would have told you that I had a perfect relationship. A Monday night, he was flying. He's a pilot in the Air Force and left his phone at my house. In the middle of the night it buzzed. It was a call girl named Panama, who had quit for a while. He was reaching out to call old clients because she needed money. I logged into his phone. We share passwords and almost everything. And at first told her she had the wrong number, but far too much of what she said was identifiable to him. I confronted him when he got home, and he didn't try to deny it at all. He confessed that he'd seen two separate call girls for about a year. Sometime at the same time, he claims he's a sex addict. Has been in treatment for about a year. I knew he was in counselling, but I thought it was for grief of a friend dying overseas. He promised me he hasn't seen either of girls for 18 months. And that's the only time he's ever cheated in the past 6 years we've been together. Last week, I was livid. I couldn't stand to be around him, lest I might do things that I would regret. Last night in the moment of weakness, I called him because I wanted to hear from him one last time as to why he did it. Why he needed to call girls. I was so open to try anything. Just why? The truth is I miss him so much, it's killing me. So part of me just wanted to hear his voice. And I know he's alive in this world. We ended up having the friendliest conversation over the course of 4 hours since I found out. The reality is I still love him. I love everything about him. Except the cheating. He's broken over this. He's taken himself off flying schedule in the middle of his instructor upgrade, which may very be a career starter. And he's doubled up on counselling session. He hasn't lied to me. He hasn't yelled at me. He hasn't blamed me for anything. I guess there is a right way for a cheater to act. And he's doing it. All of the complicated because there is a scheduled MHO best man in our respective best friend's wedding this coming Saturday. Both of us agreed that we don't want drama to come in the way of a good day. So while we aren't going together, we're going to put on happy faces for 4 minutes. We have to be around each other. But I'm worried I'm going to break when I see him. Tall, glorious, handsome in his tux. I'm so devastated. I don't know what to do. I miss him more than I miss the other person. But I also hate him more than I hate any other person. What the hell should I do? Can a cheater ever change? This is so stupid to me, right? Why would you just throw away a solid relationship for time with a call girl? Is it better that you paid for this service so you can say that it really didn't mean anything? I ruined our relationship for something that means nothing? Would it have been better if it did mean something? I think these things are just absolutely stupid. Apache 31 says he was broken after you found out. If you hadn't have discovered it then, let it sink in. And I agree with that. He was not doing right by you before. Very, very upsetting. Oh, this sounds petty. James 14:71-4 says, if you want to cut him to the core, when you give your maid of honor speech, highlight the bride and groom for their unbreakable love and trust they have for one another, how important it is to stay true to one another, backhandedly pointing out the glaring flaws your ex has, by way of calling out the exact opposite strengths as of a successful marriage. Conclude saying, I hope someday I can be lucky as to find a one-of-a-kind love, the trust that the two of you share. Isn't that petty? I love it. Absolutely love it. But yeah, maybe don't do anything dramatic at your best friend's wedding. If you need to step away, might be best to just do that. Strictly Steez says, wait, so he claims sex addict, but he only cheated that one time? That sounds fishy to me. I was a drug addict for many years. Addiction means you lose control. You impulsively use whatever you're addicted to, whether it's drugs, sex, gambling, food. If he's a legitimate sex addict, I can almost guarantee he's not telling you about it. He isn't actually an addict, he's simply just a liar. The only way his story would make sense if he's a sex addict who's in recovery for many years, and that one instance was cheating is just a relapse in his story. For me, what would I do here? I would get the hell out, quite frankly. This is a huge breach of trust. And not only did he not tell you, so what, this girl reached back out after 8 months? He decided to keep this secret for you for all this time? And you had to find out? He didn't tell you? I'm failing to see any positives about this guy except for being, tall, handsome, in a tux? You can put any guy in stilts in a tuxedo if you're just looking for tall, handsome in a tux. Put a mask on them. I think you can do better than this. Let's move on to some of the edits and the updates. So the AITA post with this one is mostly in relation to if she were to drop out of the wedding. And I already think that's a great idea. If you're, going to have a hard time there, I think your best friend would understand. And quite frankly, I think maybe your fiancé of 6 years should also not go. It's hard to say. But if you're feeling not good about this, why would you go? And a lot of the comments thought they would not be the arsehole for not going to this wedding. And the edit the poster says is, okay guys, I don't know the verdict is, but whether you voted YTA, NTA, said I should go anyways to support my friend. We were friends before we were born. College roommates, blah blah blah. Your arguments were most convincing. I'm going to suck it up and participate, have fun, make my lock screen image the text from Panama where she said, remember you liked, oh my god. So when I get sad, I have an instant reminder of who he really is. And when it's all over, I'm going to scream myself hoarse and beat the ever-loving fuck out of my pillows. I'll update you from a week from now if I still have a lot of reading to do. Thanks for all the comments. And then we go back to the post that I just read. And there is one more update, so let's jump across to that. I've logged into this throwaway a couple of times over the week, and honestly, to go 50 DMs and comments asking me to update, so here it goes. Some of you may know that my story got featured on major news websites and blogs. It was crazy. I left way too much identifiable info in my posts, so pretty much all of my social circle knew it was me, and it was also the most everyone figured out X had been cheating. We had a meeting, in quotation marks, among the four of us as to whether or not to proceed. We pretty much agreed that not showing up would cause more drama and whispers than if we didn't show up. So we agreed to be civil and stay in our respective places. Having to spend that hour or so in the same room with him just fueled me up with adrenaline and pure rage. That led into the bachelorette party that night where I got freaking hammered. And honest to God, made out with so many guys while dancing, I couldn't even count. I also ended up having my first ever one night stand, ever with a 20-year-old guy from university wrestling team who was so sweet. I'm not proud of doing that, but I'm also not ashamed either because it made me feel desirable. And almost like I was going into the wedding day in rehearsal with some parody, since he can be naughty too. X and I have of course paired up at rehearsal. I hate to admit this, We had an absolute blast with each other. It wasn't a mistake that we had such great fun and relationship. We were very compatible. It probably also worked because we were also put the issue on the side to focus on everything else. The wedding was very much the same way. We walked arm in arm down the aisle with big, beaming, genuine smiles since we were there for our friend, and also prepared a really nasty MOA toast, oh no, that would have praised my friends and her loving relationship and loyal truthfulness. I even included a line about, who was going to call into the middle of the night. But as the reception wore on, I could tell the weight of the situation was really getting to my eggs, and I felt like I really didn't need to twist the knife any further. So I gave a nice but generic toast. I'm all for petty, mate. Always do petty. Okay. As the night went on, my ex was more and more out of it, and sitting by himself either on his phone or with his head in his hand. I didn't want people talking about him, so I asked him to dance with me, which was actually really, really nice, since we both didn't say anything. At the end of it, with his hands around my face, he was going to kiss me. I would have totally let him in that moment. I just whispered how sorry he was and walked away. I got distracted and turned around. He apparently left the reception. I hate myself for it, but I was sad to see him go. This wedding was literally the last thing we ever got to have to do with each other, and there's no expectation of GOT Sundays or Bloody Mary brunches with his mum. We won't argue over how bad IPA beer smells or who forgot to put gas in his car. Like the reality of him just being able to leave without me arguing. I'm not ready to go yet. Classic introvert-extrovert pairing here. Sunk in that this is over, like over. I went and cried uncontrollably in the kitchen of the hotel until the bride found me. Oh god. And cried for a good half an hour. With that I knew I made the right choice of being there for my friend. So that is that. Wedding is over, I'm done. No real drama, lots of hurt feelings, huge broken hearts. I'm not sure how I will ever heal. I wish I could turn off loving him, but it's not going to happen. I don't think it's wrong to grieve a relationship that you've put so much effort into. Not in the slightest. I think a lot of the feelings you're feeling are so correct. But also, how can you possibly ever trust someone like this? I have grieved plenty of relationships, and I'm sure you're the same. But you never want to go back to them. You're like, why did you ruin this perfect thing we had? It was so nice. And now all we have are tainted memories. Was he just nice to you to hide the stuff he was doing on the side? Why couldn't he be honest with you about his problems? There's just no going back for me, and it sounds like there's no going back for you either. There's apparently an edit, and we'll see what some of the comments say. Last word on this, guys, is it's really honest and God to say thank you. This sub has been a helpful and amazing place. Shout out to Sausage Fest. He was a great modder and absolutely coaxed me into the right decision. I still have something like 1,200 inbox notifications, and I'm sure people who gave me gold and silver in there somewhere. But I don't get a thank you, blah blah blah. Very kind, thank you, and Fox News, you kinda suck. Excellent. Madison Preggers says it's really heartbreaking. I can't imagine the pain you must be in. You totally did the right thing being there for your friend. You deserve a tremendous amount of credit for sucking up and going through with it. I don't think it was necessarily the right or wrong thing, but you made the choice that you think was right for your friendship and what you thought you could handle, which you clearly did. You made it through. But well done. Just Lurker that lurked says, I truly believe this post shows your quality up. You've showed your mettle as a friend and as an ex. Best of wishes with everything going forward. Person who's experienced heartbreak to another. Eventually time heal this wound. Zoot Newt Dingo touches on something I did before. There's no expectation of Game of Thrones Sundays or Bloody Mary brunches with his mum. We won't argue over how bad IPA beer smells or who forgot to put gas in the car. I think your description of the positive aspects of the relationship highlights how bad breakups really are. You aren't losing the bad aspects of a relationship. You are losing the good ones as well. Congratulations on being there for your friend. Getting through it. You did it. Elephant Grace says, I broke up with my ex-fiancé after she got pregnant. were both cis women, so obviously the baby wasn't mine, and she was cheating. She was my first openly queer relationship. I felt so cut off from not just her but her family, but also a lot of queer events we attended together. That was before I realized it was anything except straight and lesbian, but eventually I replaced all our crime show binges with superhero movies binges with a man I would become my husband. We kept watching only the crime show that I actually liked for its content, than how much I could pick it apart. I took my husband to the SF Pride wearing a pan and bi-colours and felt proud to be who I am. Queer, no matter what my partner's sex is. And the one time my ex and I met again at a coffee shop, I was holding my partner's hand and she was alone with a screaming toddler. Not gonna lie, felt a bit of petty satisfaction at that. I love the little stories in the comments, just like, you know, hearing other people have felt different feelings in the world's a little bit more human. I've completely destroyed my custard apple or sugar apple, whatever you decide to call it. Delicious, absolutely delicious. And I promise you, I'll edit out all the times that I had a bit of custard apple in my mouth. All right. I'll catch you tomorrow for the next one.